take place in our meetings at our general headquarters, and we keep a close track on all the relevant developments carried out with our MPs. We also have breakfast gatherings, and we also, following the Brussels and Baku visits on June 24, we will restart such meetings. Every effort put forward under the roof of national will will bring our country closer to our targets. Since April 23rd, 1920, you, as the new representatives of service, have now bigger responsibilities to shoulder now. The most comprehensive and assertive vision program of the Republican history, the 2023 goals, are of our mission, and the legislation takes place in the Assembly, and the politics side of it takes place through you across our country. In the War of Independence, and as well in the face of the failed coup attempt July the 15th, our National Assembly indeed received the title of veteran twice, and in 1920 what started our national war and brought about victory was the National Assembly. Again, when we transited to the multi-party life, despite the fascism and negative pressure of the single-party regime, we saw that Turkey could be administrated with democracy and the national will. And our Grand National Assembly achieved that. Other than tutelage and coups, our assembly faced many challenges, but every time it managed to bring our country back on the track of democracy. And recently, our Grand National Assembly endured many tests and always succeeded in those. One of those, indeed, was to do with the 6th anniversary of June 7, 2015 elections. In 2013, the dark scenarios took start with Gezi protests, and in 2015 June 7 elections, Turkey faced the dark scenarios again, bringing dark clouds of ambiguity and longings for old Turkey. Terrorist organizations were used for the redesigning of politics. June 7, 2015 elections should never be forgotten for these reasons. Following this election in Turkey in November 15, Turkey had a rerun in elections, and in 2016, July 15, Turkey endured a military coup attempt, and in 2017, a referendum for the new administrative system. In 2018, June, an early election, and in March 2019, Turkey experienced local elections. Likewise, throughout such periods, we saw some trench protests, and some used it to their benefit on the basis of atrocities ongoing in Syria, and some attacked our economy and the immunity of our country. But thanks be to God, we stood hand in hand and shoulder to shoulder with our nation, and we upsetted plans to bring our country down to such dirty games. Our nation has always supported us strongly, and our nation has never given a chance to those who wanted to beat around the bush and darken the future of our country. Since 2019, Turkey has been carrying out many operations, and such operations, some of them are ongoing, from the Eastern Mediterranean to Libya. With many movements, there were some who tried to confine our country to our own coasts, but Turkey responded as necessary necessary. By changing its system of administration, Turkey conducted calmly and seamlessly one of the biggest reforms of its history. Since last March, the pandemic, which has affected the whole world, also brought this new era to a new level. But thanks be to God, Turkey, from security to politics, from economy to health, has answered all the needs and overcame all challenges and stood for the rights feature of all citizens across the entire country. With this authority given to us by our nation, we proved the sincerity of our democracy. We reiterated and refreshed our belief to the rule of law. We have managed to materialize even the most comprehensive reforms. We have never compromised on our independence, and we have declared that to the whole world. Our sincerity for anti-terrorism was clearly seen. We protected the lifestyles, the life quality, and livelihoods of our people. We have shown our ambitiousness in that. Shortly, we did what our responsibilities demanded and depicted our politics of service. And all those struggles we put up with, we have never compromised on the dignity of our country. We have never embarrassed our people. While doing all these, we have never given our country to the hands of dark scenario players. We have never given a chance to the organizations used as stooge for such dark plans, and we have never allowed such people to give guidance to the whole process. Yesterday, a CHP chairperson uttered some accusations and repeated those over the chair of the assembly. And the same stand at the assembly was used and has been used as a defense zone for the PKK affiliated political party. And the same stand at the assembly was also abused as a mean for many manipulations, lies, and hypocrisy. The slanders the chairperson of the opposition party said as a whole of sewerage can only be for those who believe they deserve such spots. Those who have lost their hopes on the nation will only be making business with terror organizations, and now that it has still not been enough for them, they now have some hopes on some criminal gangs. In all elections, they say, I will leave politics if I cannot achieve this ratio of votes. But every time they are swallowing their pride and continue to occupy their chairs and positions. So those should look at the mirror, their reflection on the mirror, and say sincerely what they are for themselves. Nobody, of course, needs to take some lessons of dignity or honor from those people who are absent of honor and dignity. Our nation is the direct witness of what we have done so far. From this point on, we know that 75 years has passed with a multi-party system. Democracy, national will, superiority of national will, despite all blockages by the military coups, has brought our country to the top level. And the biggest share goes to AK Party, who has brought its trademark on the past 19 years of our country. We have always addressed our matters, and to solve solutions, we have never cared for what others had to impose on us. We likewise have continued on our path and never shaped our route in accordance with the dirty plans of dark circles. Our only compass is our great nation and our nation's needs, our nation's expectations and demands. When it comes to democracy, law, justice, it is not because because some impose those on us, but it is because we firmly believe in those that we have exerted efforts to establish them and have them rooted. Our works, our projects, our investments, services have not been materialized just because some made us do so, but as our nation, for our nation, demanded those from us. Our fight against terror groups or criminal groups took place not with the help of some, but with our nation. We endured all those challenges, all terrorist attacks, with our nation on our side, and we made all those parties fail. But even though this is the case, it is not possible for us to accept the accusations of some. So far, terror groups and organized criminal groups acted, but we are the party that fought against such groups and gangs directly. And we have the clear record, the equipment, the decisiveness to fight against similar organizations in the future as well. There are some who believe that they can conceal, they can hide their own dark pasts by smearing on us. But they should know that this country is run by democratic mechanisms, not through social media. And they will see that one more time in the 2023 elections. Distinguished guests, there are some who slander our country or smear on us in the international arena. And when you take a look at who those sections are, you will see there are a couple of gangs, groups. One is PKK, the separatist terrorist organization, or its extensions that seem civilian. And the second one is the FETÖ terror group, using all its means. They ran campaigns against our country. Another important supporter of such campaigns against our country is the bloodthirsty remnants of Armenian groups. And now there is the organized criminal gangs. And in a sense, all those structures, all those organizations are fed through the same resources and guided by same people. Of course, all these materials are somehow repeatedly used by some politicians who roughly repeat what they have to say. Some old members of criminal gangs make some accusations, and when they say utter some words or make some allegations, we do not care for what they say. But now we see that from PKK to FETÖ, there are some who insist on bringing their words, their discourses to the agenda of the General National Assembly. And when we see those, we feel upset, because we believe we need to address all the issues that concern our country and our nation in detail. We can talk in greater detail about those, but we will never do that over and through terror groups or organizations or criminal groups. We do not have any business to have with them, any work to do with them. Any project, any effort, any dream of whom we never heard, are now put in use by those terror groups, and there are some people who do act on those immediately for their own personal interests, and our nation is the party who will evaluate that. I reiterate, what we have done so far is known very clearly by our nation, and we will express every next step we will take. Only last week we gave the good news to our nation about the new reserve discovered in the Black Sea. And similarly, when it comes to renewable energy, oil, and nuclear power, in all areas we have unprecedented developments unfolding. And on the other hand, as known, Filyos port was inaugurated on the same day. We never stop. And on the other hand, by the Zonguldak coast, alhamdulillah, we opened Uzun Mehmet Mosque. So all of those are indicators of being completely engaged with our nation. You need to leave great works behind. And now you see that those would-be so-called political party leaders show up and continuously make slanders, and they claim that the country, the people, are hungry. We do everything necessary throughout this whole process, mobilizing all our means. We have done that. We have done so for our workers, our laborers, our craftsmen, and small shop owners, and there is not the slightest mistake or problem in the seamlessly flowing process. And we did so for the restructuring of credit lines as well. But some still continue to reject, to refuse. We the other day shared prices about tea and also hazelnuts, and our nation always express their thanks to us. But some other leaders, political leaders, go out there on the stage and say and claim that the people are hungry. I am myself from Rize province, and I know how the yield of tea is like in Rize province, and from the region of Thrace, I know how the producers are putting up with things, and I know what the perspective of the rice producers is in Thrace. But those who know nothing about that will not be able to tell what those producers produce, and they would not know what a produce is, and they would not be able to tell what the rice plants or unshelled rice is. We took many steps in the field of agriculture. We did so for the grains and for legumes. When it comes to the protection of environment, we have done much, and we will do much also. And I will be offering a comprehensive evaluation of what we will do in terms of environment. All the work we have done so far and we will do, from that to the struggle to the whole in the whole world. We have our own matters to take to our hands, and we will only have those. You follow everything with our nation. Every month we have tens of tunnels, bridges, irrigation facilities, national gardens, and mass housing projects we open. So these people have ears, but they don't hear. They have eyes, but they do not see. They have hearts, but they do not feel. And it doesn't matter if they don't see or hear or feel. And my nation hears. It's enough for us. And as we continue to build so many structures, as long as we build our community houses and deliver it to the real owners, it is enough for us. Because in the face of the earthquake, we built many buildings, many houses for the victims of the earthquake. And people see that. For example, one MP of this opposition party should go ahead and see, because he is himself from Izmir, where the earthquake took place, but he never bothers to go and take a look. Another one is from the National Alliance. Go ahead and take a look at what is really done, or what kind of investments are done by the government over there. Go ahead and take a look at them, so that you can have a heart. And there are some who look for opportunities, and we have supported our investments in terms of the opportunities they may seize in the international arena, and we will continue to support them. When it comes to health, the quality of service, or inclusiveness, or professionalism, we have left many countries behind, countries which were set as an example for us in the past. We have left them behind. We have outperformed them. And what we have done even during this pandemic alone can go down in history in golden letters. While we protected our nation's health, we, on the other hand, continued with the four main pillars: investment, production, employment, and growth, and we attach greater importance to investment in particular. Our success in defense industry is known and recognized by the whole world. What we have developed in in terms of the aerial or terrestrial vehicles, we have many breakthroughs. We are preparing for better acts of leaping forward, and our industrialists do undertake a lot. And as known, we have ongoing work for the manufacturing of local vehicles. All organized industrial zones across our country, and in other areas we have new facilities, new plants under construction, and capacity is further built. And the challenges, despite the challenges in the tourism because of the pandemic, we have taken many steps, but there are some who have a mindset even to speak ill about those, but we fight against them. From education to health, we have established a very strong infrastructure, and we will see the fruits of that, reap the fruits of that very soon. And we have a strong infrastructure for our youth. And para-athleticism, European Championship, 6 golden, 7 silver, and 8 bronze medals were won by our athletes, and I would like to congratulate all our athletes for their great success. And hopefully very soon we will host them at the presidential complex. This is what I am willing to, and I remind that to the Minister of Sports and Youth. The good news of success in the sports hopefully will carry on in the international arena. But of course, we have Italy and Turkey game ahead of us, and we attach importance to that very much, and hopefully we will get good news from Rome, and our national football team will probably be successful. And then in Azerbaijan, we will be watching the game with my dear brother Ilham Aliyev. This is how we made our schedule. By the way, the other day at our general central premises, on our premises, we had a championship for the AK Gençlik group. In such a challenging time, FIFA 21, Pepsi and Zula games for 26 days, we felt the excitement of esports. The tournament, the first of its kind, so the participation of more than 2,100 athletes from across our country, and I congratulate our youth branches and all the young people who took part in it. When I was young, football, wrestling, basketball, volleyball, boxing, or karate, like sports, would come to mind. But now, other than those classical fields, there are various dimensions to the sports. Digital sports, exhibitions, international tournaments, and championships are included into the scope of sports activities. In 2010, the world digital game sector, with the effect of the pandemic,
159 milyar dolara ulaştı.
Achieved a volume of $159 billion. Esports, especially, is becoming more common among our young people. So as the party and the government, we keep a close track on what our young people are interested, and take all the necessary steps to make sure that the esports become institutionalized. And we also invest in our internet infrastructure seriously. And what's more important here is the fiber internet lines. The fiber line structure now stretches as lengthy as 460,000. It used to be 81,000, and we are determined to bring in 5G technology to Turkey. Of course, those fiber internet lines will be stretched even further, because we have more way to go there. We will concentrate on that, and very rapidly we will extend the scope of all lines. So our services go on and on, even though I try to sum it up, here briefly. This is what our country exactly needs. Our nation expects us to share our time and energy, spend our time and energy for politics of service, not for dark circles or worlds. Our nation expects us to produce. My great nation, when it comes to environment and protection of environment, it is a matter, it is a cause that has deep roots and that stretches back into the future. Allegations that are absent of ground are repeated by some people, but repeating those would not mean you are an environmentalist. There are some who try to prevent all projects by using environmentalism as an excuse, but this is not what environmentalism is. And environmentalism is never what those people assumed as the role in the past and left it halfway in the middle. Environmentalism tourism is indeed addressing the needs of all cities such as Istanbul. We have never left Istanbul to such appalling practices throughout our service, and we will never do so in the future. And we have a video to show how the great work to be done by AK Party was prevented by some. Let's take a look at that.
Tarihimizde gündeme gelen ve ülkemizi ileri taşıma iddiasındaki tüm kalkınma hamleleri her zaman belli bir kesimde rahatsızlığa sebep oldu. Kendi vatanının gelişmesinden kim rahatsızlık duyabilirdi ki? Hep daha iyiye yönelmek ve daha ileriye bakmak yerine geçmişe saplanıp kalan bu köhne zihniyet bugün de aynı inat, hırs ve art niyetle varlığını sürdürmeye devam ediyor. Kurbağalara göl olacak dedikleri Keban Barajı 45 yıldır milyonlarca konuta elektrik sağlıyor. İstanbul'un atardamarlarından biri olan Vatan Caddesi'nin inşasına karşı çıktılar. Uçak mı indireceksiniz diyerek itiraz ettiler. Bugünkü 15 Temmuz Şehitler Köprüsü'nün yapımı için ilk tartışmalar başladığında yıkılır dediler, akıl işi değil dediler, yapıldığındaysa önce onlar geçtiler. Her gün yüz binlerce aracın kullandığı Fatih Sultan Mehmet Köprüsü'nün yapımına karşı çıktılar. Aynı zihniyet Sabiha Gökçen Havalimanı'nın yapılmasına da engel olmaya çalıştı.
Sabiha Gökçen Havalimanı. Uçak iniyor mu? Hayır. Kaç milyon dolara mal oldu? Peki uçağın inmediği yere havaalanı yapan başka bir ülke gördünüz mü siz?
Yatırımlara hız verildiği dönemde Türkiye karşısında yine CHP'yi ve işbirlikçilerini buldu.
Başta 3. köprü, 3. havalimanı, Kanal İstanbul, A3 ve HES'ler olmak üzere kaldırılması istenleri olduğunu iktidar sahiplerine iletmek istiyoruz.
Mega projelere karşı kirli oyunlar sergilendi. Hedeflerinde 3. köprü, İstanbul Havalimanı, Akkuyu Nükleer Güç Santrali, Marmaray ve Avrasya Tünelleri, şehir hastaneleri gibi Türkiye'ye çağ atlatacak projeler vardı. Yönettikleri belediyeler eliyle hizmet etmek yerine sorun, yalan, slogan ve heykel üretmekten öteye geçemediler.
Bugün yarın da olmuyor bu işler. 2 yıldır nasıl yapalım? Gerçekten uzun bir çalışmanın eseridir bu.
Fuar alanına bomboş bölmeler ekleyip 1000 yataklı Sahra Hastanesi yaptıkları yalanını yüzleri kızarmadan söylediler.
Kuzeyde Ankaralılar 1000 yataklı Sahra Hastanesi yaptı. 1000 yataklı.
Buna karşın pandemide halkımızın imdadına yetişen şehir hastanelerinin yapımına karşı çıktılar.
Daha önce bu şehir hastanelerini arkadaşlarım hepimiz eleştirdik. Yanlış yapıyorsunuz dedik. Bu şehir hastaneleri bütçeye büyük yük getirecektir. Şehir hastaneleri niçin yapıldı diye eleştirmedim.
İstanbul'u yine 30 yıl öncesindeki kendi köhne zihniyetlerine geri götürerek çöpleri bile aylarca toplamadılar. İnşaatı başlayan metrolara beton döktüler. Çalışan hatları kapattılar, işletemediler.
Şaka değil. Şaka değil. Yarın bir temel atmama törenim var gerçekten. Gerek yok böyle bir yatırıma. Yani böyle bir arıtma tesisine gerek yok. Durdurduk. Çok projeyi böyle durdurduk aslında.
Türkiye'nin göz bebeği olan Marmara Denizi'nin korunması için kritik öneme sahip arıtma tesisi projesini güle oynaya iptal ederek temel atmama törenleriyle ihanet ettiler. Çevre felaketinin önünü açtılar. En başarılı çevre düzenlemelerinden olan dikey bahçeleri kaldırılarak İstanbul'u bu güzellikten mahrum bıraktılar. Yapmayı en iyi bildikleri işi ise hiç ama hiç aksatmadılar.
Türkiye nasıl yönetilir? Öğrenmek istiyorsan geleceksin İzmir'e. Göreceksin, bakacaksın. Ana kentler nasıl yönetiliyormuş? Nasıl yönetiyorsak Türkiye'yi de öyle yöneteceğiz.
Oysaki CHP son 17 yıldır yönettiği İzmir halkını kötü kokan körfezler, su taşkınları, temizlenemeyen sanayi atıkları ve çevre sorunlarıyla yüz yüze getirirken borç batağında sürünmeye devam etti.
19 yıldır iktidarı yönetenler bu memleketin hayrına ne yaptılar da Cumhuriyet Halk Parti engel oldu?
Bu hükümet dünyanın en doğru işini bile yapsa bizim bu hükümeti alkışlayacak halimiz yok.
Yani Allah adına bir tane iyi şey olsa da onda bir konuşsak.
18 yılda hiç mi yok?
Varsa siz söyleyin. Ya, hakikaten ben bilmiyorum yani. Var.
Hazır mıyız?
Türkiye son 20 yılda tarihinin en büyük atılımlarını gerçekleştirdi. Halka hizmet, hakka hizmettir şiarıyla hareket eden kadrolar, gece gündüz demeden çalışarak ülkemize çağ atlatan projeleri birer birer hayata geçirdi. Marmaray ve Avrasya Tüneli, Bolu Dağı Tüneli, hızlı trenler, yollar, Göktürk Uydusu, Osman Gazi Köprüsü, Yavuz Sultan Selim Köprüsü, şehir hastaneleri, SİHA, İHA, Milgem, sondaj gemileri ve daha niceleri yakın bir gelecekte hayata geçecek. Akkuyu Nükleer Güç Santrali, TOG, TCG Anadolu, Milli Muharip Uçak, Gökbey, Kanal İstanbul. Türkiye bir yandan gelişimin önündeki çürümüş zihniyetle mücadele ederken, diğer taraftan da halkın faydasına olan yeni ve mega projelerle gücüne güç katmaya devam ediyor. Geçmişin köhne zihniyeti, 2053 ve 2073'ü bugünden tasarlayan projelerle Balkanlarda, Doğu Akdeniz'de, Kıbrıs'ta, Kafkaslar'da, Karadeniz'de, Afrika'da, Orta Doğu'da ve tüm Türkiye coğrafyalarda Türkiye'nin yeni yüzyılın parlayan yıldızı olmasına engel olamayacaktır. Gelecek yüzyıla güçlü bir Türkiye mirası bırakmak için durmadan üretmeye devam edeceğiz.
Değerli kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and
ekranları
sisters,
başında bizi
and all
izleyen
those watching us,
aziz milletim. İşte az önce
my great
Sayın
nation,
Kılıçdaroğlu'nu dinlediniz.
you have listened
Yandaşlarını dinlediniz.
what Mr. Kılıçdaroğlu
Ne diyorlar?
had to say and his
Bir de
proponents.
eserleri var mı?
And what do they say? They ask,
Diyoruz ya.
do I have a single
gözleri var,
work?
görmez.
As I said
Kulakları
before,
var,
they have
duymaz.
ears but they
Kalpleri
don't
var,
hear. They have
anlamaz.
eyes but they
Çünkü
don't
onların
see. They have
kalpleri
hearts but they do not
görmez.
understand because their hearts are sealed.
Ya bu kadar açık, her şey ortada.
Everything is as clear as daylight. Everything is obvious.
Yavuz Sultan Selim'den bir geçiver.
Go and cross
Osman
the Yavuz
Gazi'den
Sultan Selim
geçiver.
Bridge or Osman
İstanbul'un içinde
Gazi
Marmaray'dan
Bridge
bir geçiver.
and go
Hiç
take
mi
Marmaray
Avrasya'dan
in
geçmedin?
Istanbul. Have you never
Avrasya'dan
crossed the
Gelelim bu
Eurasian
tarafa.
Tunnel
Ankara,
and
İstanbul.
come all the way down to
Ya
Ankara
bu
and other
otobanlar,
parts of Istanbul,
bunları
all
kim
those
yaptı ya?
highways,
Bizim-
motorways? Who have?
bu otobanları hiç
Who has
kullanmadı mı?
built those?
Muhakkak
We did.
kullanmıştır.
Have you not
bütün
used
bunların
those
yanında
highways even
Ankara'daki
for a single time?
havalimanını
You must have.
kim yaptı ya?
And the airport
Havalimanı da biz
in
yaptık.
Ankara. We also are
Bundan
the
önce
ones
böyle
who
bir
built
havalimanı Ankara'da var
that
mıydı?
airport.
Yok.
And did we have
şekilde
such an airport in Ankara
Çanakkale
before? No.
havaalanı
This goes the same
bu
for
dönemde
Çanakkale
bizim bir
Airport.
eserimiz.
It is
Ya bunlar
our
saymakla
work.
bitmez.
And
Nesi bir
these
köprüsü?
are,
Onlar
the list goes
buraya
on.
gitmezler zaten.
And there are many other
Bunlar
bridges
tabii salon
in
sosyetesi oldukları için oralara kadar uzanamazlar. Ve bütün bunlarla beraber
and together with these all,
doğudan batıya
from the west
kuzeyden
to the
güneye,
east, from
az
the
önce
south
söyledim,
to the north,
İzmir milletvekilisi.
you
Ya
can see, and
İzmir'in
as I said before,
şu
you are an
İstanbul,
MP,
İzmir
you are a
yolunu,
deputy from Izmir.
otobanını ya biz yapmadık.
Have we not
Hala bir eser var mı
constructed
diyorsun?
Izmir-Istanbul
Ya 3 saat
highway?
15
Now you
dakikaya
still
burayı biz düşünmedik.
question if we have constructed a single work.
Ve bütün bu eserler
Are we not the
ortadayken
ones who
hala söyledikleri bir eser
reduced the
var.
traveling time from Istanbul
Senin
to
hastane
Izmir down
hayatını
to
biliriz
3?
biz.
and they still question if we have built anything. We know your past, and we know how you made the social security institution collapse when you presided it. And when we, on the other hand, constructed all those hospitals, they asked why we constructed those hospitals. We constructed them for the health of our life, our people's life. So because we know our principle is to make people live on, and there's nothing more precious than a healthy breath of life. And do not forget, these are city hospitals. When you presided at the social security institutions, our people even didn't have an access to IVs, and all the toilets or bathrooms were dirty and in blood. And the late journalist Savaşay indeed brought it to the attention of our nation and made a disgrace out of you. So we have all the records of those. And what else should I say? From the south to the north, from the west to the east, we, thanks be to God, have done much over the past 18 years, and this is proven. And this will continue, even though you want it or not. Even though you want it or not, it will continue. So this is not a piece of work that an alliance of dissension would achieve, but only what the People's Alliance would. We, as the People's Alliance, are at the disposal of our nation, and we are ready to take any step for our people, and we will continue. Now another subject which gives us some headache, the recent problem and expanding problem of mucilage, sea snob in Marmara. So this is how we consider that. Just like we cleared the Golden Horn and made the sea there clear, and fish live. Hopefully we will rid Marmara Sea from this sea snot problem very soon. We will clear that mucilage problem, mucilage from Marmara Sea, and tackle that problem. Our Ministry of Environment and Urbanization acted upon the issue with their expert teams. We act with universities. From under the water and above the water, samples were taken, and at TÜBİTAK those are being examined. And the developments over the seas are closely followed, and over the land at the water treatment facilities we have more auditing activities ongoing. More than 700 experts, scientists, representatives of boards or NGOs, and representatives of municipalities conducted the biggest workshop on this subject in Kocaeli, with the hosting of Marmara Municipalities Union, with the governors and mayors of 7 provinces of Marmara region. The subject was elaborated on in detail to protect the Golden Horn, the Straits, and Marmara. We have prepared an action plan for the protection of Marmara Sea, and we shared our action plan with our people. In the circular as regards water cleanliness over the seas, we sent the documents to the relevant authorities. At 15 spots, clearing activities started, and tomorrow the respective academic units of various universities will convene to go into the scientific details. To protect our coasts from this threat, we have to act in line and with science, we firmly believe. And after the meeting, we will gather with the scientists of the meeting at the presidential complex and get information from them. We will declare the Marmara Sea as a region of conservation, and we will advance our wasting and treatment systems and we will clear that, clear the waters. This strategic plan about the missilage issue will be completed very soon, and our Assembly Board will do what's necessary for the establishment of a research committee. Marmaray and Istanbul, the people of our eyes.
Törenle durduran. Arkadaşlar burası çok önemli.
In Silahdara, the wastewater facility operations were stopped, and in Sancaktepe they left the rivers to the bacteria. In Beykoz and Şile, they failed to operate the water treatment facilities, and in many places of Istanbul, they failed to even collect the waste or trash. We cannot leave our great country to the incompetence of such people of a mindset that would do such things. First, you have to do what you have to do, and everybody will protect the parks, the cities, the country. No matter what party they are from, it is our responsibility to address the needs of our nation, and we will never refrain from doing what's necessary. And in this framework, we have a climate-friendly urbanization project, one of the biggest projects of our republic in history, Kanal Istanbul project, and we will start our Kanal Istanbul project. More than half of the planning and zoning area will be green areas with walkways and ride lanes. This project will be a source of pride for Istanbul and our country to take. Kanal Istanbul, some say, will trigger earthquake or lead to drought and speak many other nonsense. Those people first should do their own minimum task and then speak about our projects. We never care for such lies or slander, but we will continue to deliver. Dear friends, we are not only getting enough of the Marmara region, but across our country, in all corners of the country, we have a very historic investments of environment. Another example is the Salda Lake project. Due to the failure of the local municipalities, 2 years ago we declared this region as a region of conservation. We removed the irregularly constructed structures and then limited the usage of some areas in and around the lake, and we follow the water quality in Salda Lake very carefully. After the treatment facility comes operational, hopefully Salda Lake will be an area for international scientific studies, and its beauties will be carried over the next generations, I believe. If you remember, plastic bag usage was important in our country, and the so-called opposition said all they could when we asked the companies to charge for the plastic bags. But thanks to this initiative, by 70% the plastic bag usage was reduced. This translated into more than $2 million of saving, and annually 9 billion packages through recycling activities will be recirculated, and the Zero Waste project is a project that has been rewarded by the United Nations, and it has become success story itself.
Şu ana kadar 93
So
bin
far,
kamu binasında
at
hayata geçen bu projeyle
93,000
ekonomimize
public
17 milyar liralık katkı
buildings,
sağlayan
we have
neticeler elde
contributed
edilirken
to our economy by
209
$17
milyon
billion,
ağaç kurtarıldı.
and more
2
than
milyar ton sera gazı salınımının
209,000 trees
önüne geçildi.
were saved, more than 2
Ülkemizdeki
billion
geri
tons
kazanım
of green
oranını
gas emissions were
%13'ten
prevented, and the
Avrupa
recycling
ülkelerinin çoğunu
capacity
geride bırakarak
increased from 13% up to
çıkardık.
22.4%, leaving many European countries
Tabii
behind, and
bazıları
our
bu
next
konularda
target is
Norveç'e,
35%.
İsveç'e, İngiltere'ye
Some take a look at
bakmaktan
Norway
kendi
or Sweden
ülkelerinde
or the
olup
UK
bitenleri
and never care
göremiyor.
about what goes on in their own country.
Daha %68'e çıkardığımız düzenli atık depolama
When it comes
miktarını
to regular
41 belediyeden 1170
landfilling
belediyeye çıkardığımız
practices
atık su arıtma
and
hizmetini
also the
ülkemizin
wastewater
1/4
treatment
yanında
systems,
harıl harıl
we
çalışan
know that
731
there
toplama,
are
ayırma
totally
merkezini
731 collection and segregation facilities and more than 1,000 recycling plants, and totally the number of the blue flagged beaches increased to more than 550, and there are many other examples.
263'ünün yapımına devam ettiğimiz millet bahçelerimiz bile
And our national gardens,
çevre
on a standalone basis, is indeed an environmental revolution. We are the country that comes the first in terms of speed of forestation in Europe. The soil amount lost to erosion was reduced down to 154 million tons from 500 million tons. Even though the number of vehicles increased, we managed to reduce green gas emissions. We're one of the rarest countries. In terms of renewable energy, we're ranked the 6th in Europe and the 13th in the world. For example, Fatma Şahin, mayor, was able to have more than 148 solar power plant facilities to operate, and this system is walking towards its goal soundly to meet the energy needs. Yes, environment is not a tool for propaganda, but it's a matter of belief and effort, and we have expressed our belief and our efforts and protect our country with the green, with its waste, with its renewable energy and everything. We make our country clean. As Cemil Beliç said, there are some who are absent of causes, but who try to butt in any issue from their ivory towers. But still, they have failed to stop us and our great works, and let me reiterate, they will fail so in the future too. We protect our air, our soil, our earth, our water, and just like we do so, we will protect politics from dirty hands, and we will be saving it from being the operations tool for some dirty minds. That's why 2023 is very important. I expect you to spend every day with great hard work and make sure that you have reached out to everyone and touched everyone's heart. And we will, on this holy path, will continue to construct a great and strong Turkey. We will never stop, and we will continue to march on our path. Let those others do meddle with their own matters. Distinguished friends, before I conclude, I would like to share one more issue with you. Political and domestic chaos is the motive for some who take disguise and do all they can. And we are following the bitter outcomes of their efforts. The biggest target of these seeds of grudge and hatred is for the Muslims and Turks. From Arakan to Turkestan, from New Zealand to Palestine, all the way down to Syria. The pains of many massacres are still fresh, but when these pains are fresh, we bleed even more with more news of attack. Those who leave the refugees to death in the Mediterranean or in the Aegean will never be forgiven by history. The most recent attack in Canada shows what kind of a big threat it has become. This threat of hatred. And using this opportunity, I would like to pray for the mercy of God on the souls of all those brothers and sisters who lost their lives due to the terror attack, and I convey my condolences to their families and the beloved ones. Turkey has always did its share in humanitarian terms by opening its doors to all, and it has always raised its voice and has always become vocal to express such irregularities, and we will never avoid doing so in the future. With all power we have, we will continue to say the world is bigger than five. We will do that for our own, for our friends, and for all the downtrodden. We will continue to defend for rights, for freedom, and for justice and fairness. Indeed, as Turkey, every platform we take part to, we exhibit the same attitude. And the next Sunday, at the NATO summit, we will participate in Brussels. We will be sharing all items in our agenda and share those with our counterparts. We will not take any step backwards. And on the occasion of the summit with Mr. Biden, the president of the USA, but also with the government, heads of government or leaders of Lithuania, Germany, and some other countries, we will have the chance to conduct tete-a-tete and delegational meetings. One of the most important members, the most important member of NATO, Turkey, has done its share and shoulder all its responsibilities within the framework of the alliance. And the only expectation we have from our partners, our members of alliance, is for them to show respect to our sensitivity about our security and our rights. We will express our rights to our counterparts, and also in terms of effective fight for anti-terrorism, we will reiterate our will for cooperation. After our meetings in Brussels, we will fly to Baku and be hosted by our brother Ilham Aliyev, and from there we will go to Shusha. Shusha is one of the liberated cities of Azerbaijan. We will pay a visit there, an official visit and also a family visit. And we will be with our sisterly country Azerbaijan and its people. The liberation of Azerbaijani territories with the support of our country indeed showed that a new era has started in the region, and it gave the chance to the region's countries, including Armenia, to open the doors for a new era. And we expect that this opportunity, this newly emerged opportunity, is seized. As Turkey, we aim to create a common platform, common grounds for cooperation and dialogue. And on Wednesday, we will be receiving our soldiers in Baku, conduct certain meetings, and then at night, Turkey, the Wales Euro group game will take place, and we will watch it, and then fly back to our country. The next Thursday in Antalya, we will participate to the Southeast European countries summit and have the chance to meet many world and leaders and regional leaders and conduct tete-a-tete meetings. And the next day, again in Antalya, with many representatives of various countries under the roof of Antalya Diplomacy Forum, we will have the chance to deliberate and exchange opinions. This important platform will host leaders, politicians, academics, philosophers, scholars, business people, diplomats, and they will have the chance to address the regional and global matters and come up with proposals of solutions. And this platform aims to bring them together on an annual basis. Antalya Diplomacy Forum, I believe, will become one of the most prestigious events of the world in its field. As seen, throughout the whole week, we will have 4 important meetings, each of which is very important, and we will have the chance to share our thoughts and the priorities of Turkey with our counterparts. And I hope all those will benefit all and be auspicious for our people and country. Thank you very much. I share my love and respect with each and every one of you. Stay in health.
Hitaplarından dolayı teşekkür ediyoruz. Değerli milletvekillerimiz, saat 14'te yoğun gündemiyle genel kurulumuzun açılacağını bilginize arz ediyorum. Haftalık olan grup toplantımızı kapatıyorum.